So, hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Walter of Verbal Herb. Usually, we do our show Wealth Wednesdays on Wednesday, but I had something to do yesterday, so I wasn't able to do it. So, we are here on Thursday. Of course, we are going to be talking about the subject of Kanye West, and since it's the Money Show, we are going to talk about what it actually means to be financially free, and so we'll get into that in just a bit. But I'd like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to Walter for being here with us, giving us financial information that we can use so we can save and earn money and improve our life financially. Also, like to say hello and giant welcome to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You all the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are the third co-host because we do read your questions, comments, and concerns as well. So we're going to have a spirited conversation. I don't know if we'll be here for 2 hours. I feel like I'm a little under the weather for whatever reason. And so we'll try to do that. But for the most part, we are here now. So who else is on here? We have BJ. What's going on with your brother Reggie, the pioneer, Sunlight? I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day today. I know that I am, even though I'm a little bit under the weather. So anyway, we're going to get through this. There's a lot going on. I will tell y'all that. A lot going on. It's changing by the moment, it seems. And so, Walter, what say you before we get started? Hello, Queens of Spades.
What I always say, but now more than ever, every dime you can, put it away. Put it somewhere where it works. So if you can't, or if your money slows down, in the case of Kanye West, now he's got money everywhere, so he's gonna be fine. But there's a lot of people, me being one of them in the past, that had my income tied to another person, and based on how they felt about my performance and what I was doing. And so I know what it's like to have income streams just boom, just end. And one day you just, oh, I'm doing well, la da 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 da, and honky dory, and cut. It's a wrap. So well, anyways, we'll get into that more.
Absolutely. So who else came on here? Thank you so much, Pioneer. And Lenora, what's going on with you? Vaughn, how you doing? So, okay, and if y'all could please share this, we would love and appreciate you. LB, thank you so much for the reminder of the thumbs up. Yes, indeed. So, all right, let's get into it. As you guys know, Kanye West, he has legally changed his name to Ye, so I guess we'll interchange between the names. He has found himself in, I don't even say a little bit of hot water, a lot of hot water due to some statements that he said. And he is being accused of being anti-Semitic, where he has said some things against the Jewish community. This is what they are saying. He did this on, I think it was Twitter, like 2 weeks ago. Huh?
Yeah, it was Twitter.
Yeah, so on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, and then, his accounts were suspended. Now, when we say his accounts, we're talking about his social media accounts, although it seems like he's back on Instagram as of today. Well, that wasn't really the end of it. A lot of backlash started to ensue from social media and people everywhere, and then the word went out by somebody who was considered the top of, Hollywood, a top Hollywood agent, that everybody should stop doing business with Kanye. And so far, it looks like that has been the strategy. He has ended, or his partnership with Adidas has ended. They ended it, although it sounds like he wanted it to end anyway. Also, Gap ended the relationship. JP Morgan Chase actually kicked it off by closing his account and telling him that he had by the end of November to find somewhere to put it. I guess he had like $150 million in that account. So they are no longer wanting to do business with him. And a whole host of other things that you can think of, really. And yesterday, or it might have been this morning, announced that his school, Donda Academy, is closing, and it will not be opening up till September of next year. So he has also lost his billionaire status per that of Forbes magazine. And Kanye said that he lost $2 billion in one day, but he says, I'm still alive. So, everything's good, I guess is kind of where he was alluding. And so Forbes is saying that he is now worth, and I hate to say this, but only $400 million. Because you say only is like, is that all? It's a lot of money nevertheless. But anyway, a lot of money that he has lost. Also with that of Adidas, which it sounds like where a lot of his money, his billionaire status was coming from. They're saying that they actually own the patent to the Yeezy shoes and that they won't be using his name, but they will be using the shoe, and they'll be selling the shoe without his name, which I don't know how that's going to work because it's kind of like the name kind of tied to the shoe, but whatever. So they're going to do that nevertheless. So Kanye, it sounds like from what they're saying, I saw the interview, whatever it was. They're saying that he apologized. I don't know what kind of apology it was, but they're saying that he apologized to the Jewish community. So I know, I guess I take their word for it that he did that. But just kind of looking at Kanye's situation being, or he was, a billionaire and kind of losing most of it almost overnight, you would think that if you are in the billionaire status, and it sounds like he had a few billions of dollars, that you would be considered financially free, right? That you're untouchable. But apparently it does not seem that way. He also, his record label, was it Good Music, parted ways, or Def Jam told him, no thank you, or what have you. So you would think that somebody with that kind of money is really financially free. They can kind of do what they want, say what they want. But apparently that is not the case. The Jewish community, kicked in the door pretty much on to that of Kanye West. Sounds like yesterday he tried to go into Skechers. Why? I don't know. They didn't say, with a crew and a film crew or whatever, and they kicked them out. Should also be said that the Skechers company is a shoe company. It sounds like they are also ran by those in the Jewish community. So I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know. Maybe he'll disclose. But anyway, if Kanye, who was and still is, considered a very wealthy man, could be put in that situation and lose most of what he had overnight, what's to stop you from losing what you have? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people who go to work every day, they punch a clock or whatever, you can't say what you want to say. You can't even say what you want to say on here without somebody calling your job and, hey, there's somebody on the internet. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. People get wild and loose on the internet, or they do something out in public and get filmed. Then people are finding out, where they work, and then they end up losing it all, right? Losing their job and whatever else they may have. And so we're going to have that discussion on how to actually become financially free, like really free, where you can say and do whatever you want. And Russell Simmons, who is in Indonesia, and it looks like he's at a lot of peace, he actually spoke on that of Kanye, and he says you're completely free now. You're not beholden to anybody. You can do what you want. He says now you can go make your own shoes and do what you need. And he says, well, we'll buy them, but he says now you're completely free. And so, of course, we're going to get into that. Before I get to you, let me just catch up to some of these comments, and then I'll let you have at it. So let's see who else came on here. Pioneer says there's no defending that clown, not after what he said about white men not being able to speak. Got you. And I want to say here, there's not really a defense of Kanye. Today, we're just talking about really how to become financially free so that you don't have to suffer the same fate. I guess really just kind of be able to say what you want. Because believe it or not, there are people on this planet that can say and do whatever they want without fear of retribution. So is there such a thing, right? And then neutrality thought, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says, Ye spoke nothing but the truth. Okay. Finder says he put himself in hot water running his mouth. Can't keep his mouth shut. Okay. Only Pamela's way. How you doing? It says, hello, Sister Demetra and Walter on a Thursday. Yes, indeed. Finder says, when you're worth $1 billion, you can't be talking like some nickel. Straight off the streets, you got to learn decorum. I agree with that. Stacy, how are you doing? Long time no see. And Pioneer says, white folks made him and they can break him too. All right. Pamela says, Ye has enough money to open his own companies. This is an example of why we need our own. And let the redeemed say so. How you doing? It says, Ye played them. He made them drop him because he actually wanted out. I read somebody is donating land to set up his factories for free. So yes, Young Thug, who is, in prison, looked like he may never get out. I don't know, fighting some RICO charges. He is saying that Kanye can actually use, I guess he has like 100 acres in Georgia somewhere, that Kanye could actually use that to start building, making and selling shoes. So we'll see. Pioneer says Uncle Phil just did a video on Kanye and how confused and messed up he is, linking himself with the alt-right racist. So I have not seen that yet, but I do know that he did it. So I am going to watch it. In Neutrality Thought, he says they are proving yay right. David, how you doing? He says they went in on him, and to say the least, right? Let the Redeem say so, says Trump says what he wants to say. I think they're helping him behind the scenes. They know how to hide money. Kiki, how you doing? Says miracles and blessings, peeps. Hey, Demetra, special hello to Walter. And Pioneer says that's like pointing at a vicious dog, talking about how dangerous he is, and then poking at it to prove your point. So now you got hit by the dog. I'm sorry, got bit by the dog, and you said he was dangerous. How smart was that? Jafia, how you doing? Like, nice to see you. And Brother Don, thank you so much, my moderator. Pioneer says Mr. Farrakhan is one of the few black men who can speak as he pleases. Yes, I am glad that you said that. I see you got some bots up in here as well. And let's see here. Jess K, how you doing? Says if you're taking money from someone, don't open your mouth until you can do better. Good point. Stacy says, what are the tips to financial freedom? We're going to get to it in just 30 seconds. Pioneer says, I thought Kanye had some land in Wyoming. He does, from what I understand. Beverly, how are you? Says blacks have to be careful of what we say to them, but they can make us look bad in the media and rap songs every day. And Kiki says, I agree with Russell. He's free. And sadly, just like with many things, a lot of our people will get it years from now. Yes, indeed. And hello, David. Jamarcus, how you doing? And Hannah, how you doing? Long time no see. He says the way people are happy to see the strip of him publicly is sickening. He was publicly whipped to shut up any other uppity. Yep, exactly. It's buck breaking. Nichols with big dreams of speaking out. The Pioneer says Trump ain't helping that fool. If anything, Trump probably told him like Ice Cube to keep his name out of his mouth, laugh out loud. I saw something about a week ago or so where Trump, they're saying Trump said, I don't know if he actually said it, that he was going to distance himself from that of Kanye. So I don't know how true it is, but I should also say that in fairness, Kanye did say some disparaging things about the black community as well. He walked around with the White Lives Matter t-shirt. We still don't know what that was about. I never really got an explanation. Of course, he was that hand in hand with Candace Owens. Also said a couple of years back that slavery was a choice. And then he said some incorrect information about that of George Floyd, in which George Floyd's child's mother is suing him for $200 million, I guess, for defamation and lying and stuff like that. And so, Walter, what say you? How do we not have this happen to us with the $2 we got in the bank?
Oh my God. So do you want me or do you want Negro Bojangles today?
We want an even mix. And I want to say this to you all. I know this could probably going to be a spirited conversation. And Hannah, I see how you spelled it. So that was, a good thing to do that. But let's just be careful what we say because y'all know. So let's just kind of, keep it to where we can have a conversation without any trauma. So Walter, go ahead. Keep it middle roll, please.
Well, here's the crazy thing. We spend more time saying, be careful, be careful, be careful. But most black people that I know feel the way Kanye, the way we think what he meant in the tweet. Now I know he explained it later, about he has a black company. How can we he's having trouble finding black people. He's like, how many whites do we have? How many Jews? And so there was a lot going on. And I know Kanye personally. So I know he feels he gets something in his head and he just gets on one and he just puts it out. And I'm sure after he put that tweet out, I'm sure this other part was like, whoa, like, what did I do? And there's just some people you can't offend. You can't offend the person that is writing the check. And one thing I learned from this whole thing, even going back, is when Michael Jackson said, bite me, kite me, talking about the Jews in the music industry. And he was basically talking about them. And they pulled this shit from the shelf. Here's one thing, and black people, we could learn from the Jewish community. They will cut their income to protect their name and their race. He could have came out and said the honky, the Mexican, the Peckerwood, Ching Chong. He could have came out and offended anyone else by far. and been cool. But like when you insult the person that is cutting your check, you it's just, and it's their pride, I guarantee you. And they will get together and they'll be like Adidas, their stock dropped immediately when they cut him. Like immediately cut their wealth. Adidas lost millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know if Adidas is what their market cap is, but when you lose 5% of your global wealth just like that from one man, just shows you how powerful Kanye was. And I think he was growing and growing and growing, and I think it was starting to freak people out. He was talking about buying Universal. He was halfway there with his net worth. So I think, and it's unfortunate too. You should be able to say what you want to say. I know that was kind of abrasive. If that would have been even about black people, that would have been abrasive. You can't attack a whole race. That's why I don't agree with, when people say, oh, black women act this way. Well, that's not true. Not all black women, not all black men, not all white people are racist. Not all Mexican people pick oranges. You know what I'm saying? You can't you can't cover the whole race. And I think we as human beings, we do that all the time. And so I know Kanye, he's surrounded by Jews. I just think that he just let go and he probably thought about it later. But one thing Kanye is worth $500 million. He's not a broke dude. If Kanye moved to Africa or Indonesia with Russell, they would still be filthy rich. So I got to give Kanye that. The other thing you can do is you own 100% of your stuff. I was talking earlier, and I remember just working for a company and having them say, we're going to cut your contract, and my income just stopping. Like one day I'm making 50 grand, and then the next day they're like, oh, we don't agree with your tactics, so we're going to cut your contract. So I'm going from 100, 150 to zero. I was like, never, ever, ever, ever again will I let one person control my income. I don't care how much money the job offers me. I mean, it have to be a lot of money. Somebody was like, hey, we're going to give you $250,000. So I'd be like, kick rocks. I'm not doing it. There's no way in hell I'm going to give it. I would rather make $100,000 a year and be 100% free than to make 200 and go report to a grown-ass man reporting to another grown-ass man about when I could take a break, when I could leave, when can I go on vacation, when can I hang out with my kids? Like, hell to the no. That, and then there's always going to become a time where you do something wrong in your employment situation or where you work and they just cut you loose. The thing about Kanye is just you realize how much power this dude had. I mean, for God's sake, how many people can get the president of the United States on the phone? And his wife, both of them, kicking it with Trump. Regardless of what you think about Donald Trump and the whole Meghan Kanye, I don't know what is going on with that. I mean, I try not to get too wrapped up into politics. But I think this could be an example. Own our own stuff. Russell said, what up, Cosmo? I see you. We need to holler. Don't let me forget, man. Hit me up. I'm thinking about actually doing stand-up comedy. That's my boy right there, my stage partner. So one thing we can do is just own 100% of what we do. Like Russell said, you're free. 100% to be able to wake up. And I don't agree anyone should attack a race. I don't care who it is. And, damn, it's a big-ass comment. D knows me. My sister is very militant at times. Whereas I am more moderate. You know what I'm saying? When we were growing up, she went to the Black Power meeting and I was stuck over in the gray area. I don't even know how that happened. So I tend to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? More middle of the road. I don't believe the Mexicans have done one thing. I don't believe white people have done one thing or black people. I think people make mistakes. And so I don't think it's cool to attack a whole race. It's not something you could do. So he could have went about differently and said, I want black people to have the power that Jewish people have. We need to do better as a black race. And you can't attack them. You can't. That's my man Cosmo. You can't attack a race because not everyone is responsible. Like, for instance, I guarantee you, if I leave my house tonight and I walk down the street and I find a white woman jogging park and I put on all black in a hoodie and I start walking around, I guarantee you those white women, well, some of them gonna be like, hey, but the other half gonna be like, oh shit, it's a black dude. You know what I'm saying? And so my point is making is you can't hold a race accountable. You got to hold the people accountable. And I know that's tough to listen to, but a lot of people, like, there's a lot of black people, Mexicans, Jews, Chinese that have done things that have tarred their race, and the whole race gets blamed for it.
Can you answer this question here?
What do you think about EA starting 3 banks, fund them to $100 million each, use those banks to give like deposits and microloans, use banks to do business and cut out enemies? Well, I don't know who his enemies are, but here's the thing. This is a good question, and I'm gonna answer it, and I'm gonna take a piece out of the Color of Money from the professor here in the University of Irvine in California. She says the problem with black banks loaning money to black people is that they are too emotional. Number one, and they're too religious. Period. The black banks, the freedom banks, a lot of these banks, not only did they have to deal with white supremacy, they also had to deal with doing business with their people that were so religious that they were like, oh, God wants you to loan me the money. He said, God wants you to give me a break on my payment, shit like that. That's the problem with loaning money as a black bank, just doing business with blacks. That's why we don't do it. So what we need to do is practice on being more, what's the word I'm looking for? Increasing our self-esteem and being okay with saying, hey, no matter what happened to us, we are going to be 100% accountable for what happens to us. I think at that point, we won't have to have a conversation about a black bank because we'll all be stacking money. And then we could all start creating and pitching in the banks. You understand what I'm saying? So the whole black bank thing, I like the idea. I think black people just we have to become stronger mentally and self-esteem wise to be able to say, hey, okay, I'm only going to do business with black people. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you listen to Lil Wayne, his situation is watching him talk is hard. It's kind of hard. I listened to him talk, and in his, kind of mellow way, he was like, white people have made me rich. That's not what he said, but in so many words. I've seen Lil Wayne's concerts, in the whole first 5-8 rows are all white women. And so his point being was like, all races, because this is a white conversation, they're supporting me when he was defending why he, thinks Black Lives Matter is a scam, which I think most black people that are really educated in building wealth understand, that too.
Absolutely. And so, Kiki, you asked a minute ago what brought all of that on as far as Kanye and what he's saying. For what people are saying, he wanted out of the contract. And he did say, I guess, with Adidas. So I don't really know, what really spurred him to just, say what he said. But that's kind of speculation. Doesn't sound like he's really said. Maybe I just didn't hear it. So I don't know. And Ronald, how you doing? Says Kanye said that he was going to build his city, build on his city. What do you think about this? So it says build on his city. And which city is that, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, if he's talking about Wyoming. But here's the thing. We need to be 100% in control. We can't build our own city and still go deal with the banks that we don't own. Because as you're finding out with even Kanye, is if you don't control the end product, which means if you don't control when people spend and consume, you don't control that money going into your control. And then when you loan it out, you control it. And when it comes back, you control it. You can't have power. Look how rich this dude is. Kanye is, I've watched Kanye when me and him worked together without putting his business out. I watched, we built his credit, we built up his bank accounts, all from where we started with Kanye when he was just getting started. When Through the Wire, matter of fact, D, I was at your house when Through the Wire came on as a buzz clip. It was like, if you remember, MTV used to play music. It was just like, oh yeah, like it's a buzz clip. It wasn't even a real video, so to speak. It was on like buzz clips, like the pre MTV. That's where he was, to being the richest man since Mansa Musa. I mean, and if the richest man in the world, black man in the world, could go from 4 million or 3 to $500 million, I said $500 million, like it's shit. But like, what is that saying about us? Like Jay-Z, all those guys are quiet. I mean, everybody's quiet. And, no matter how powerful they are, when somebody else is controlling your money and your income, you're doomed. You know what I'm saying? So what up, Curtis? Big Lady K. I used to rap with his sister. Matter of fact, Curtis, I wrote some of her rhymes. Anyway, so we have to start with controlling our own shit. And I'm not saying this to diss other races, but Kanye, you have to watch his video. I just saw it on Amazon, on my Amazon Alexa. Don't respond, Alexa. I'm just using your name. All right, she should be talking to me, scaring the shit out of me sometimes. So I was watching the video, and he would just, he was talking about Black businesses and Black owned and Black employees. And you have to just start by owning everything. That's it, 100%. Even I'm in the car business, and I made a decision yesterday to get the hell out of it. Because I don't control where I get my cars from. I have to go through a company to get them. And, a couple of weeks ago, they had a glitch in the system, and they asked me to pay $40,000 out of my pocket. Like, oh, we made a mistake. You bought this car. The computer said, you a damn lying about that car. And they were like, we need $40,000. And they shut down his account with a bunch of us on it. They shut it down until we figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I have bought 400 or 500 cars from you cats and all of our partners. And like, I got, let's call it 20 cars that I own. And I'm just like, damn, one computer glitch could mess with my business. Ain't happening. So I got to cut these fools a check for $40,000. Me and my partners gonna pitch in, buy this ratchet Jeep, and hope we can sell it. You know what I'm saying? But if I was getting the cars from the street, you know what I'm saying? I got ads out like, yo, you want to trade in your car? Holler back, which is where my mind just went, even talking to you. You understand what I'm saying? So like, you control it. So if you come to me with your ride and I cut you a check and they're done with the middleman, that's how it needs to be. You cannot be totally free if somebody else is controlling your shit. Some of you guys out there with jobs and you think that you have stability, man, when you get your paycheck, you need to be putting half of that shit away. Because one day, like Intel, boom, laying off. Intel, $60 billion in revenue, laying off. Facebook, well, I bought a shit ton of stock options after they missed earnings. Facebook went, they were 97 bucks from like 140 2 days ago. That's so, it's things like that. You control your own money. You know what I'm saying? You could be, how am I trying to say this? You could still control your money, but work, still work with other people. You know what I'm saying? You could own them. You know what I'm saying? What up, girl? She got her hair done, lipstick, everything. So I'm going to screenshot that, put it on my wall. Anyways, I digress. So the best thing to do is to control everything that you do. And I had a huge wake-up call. Like, seriously. Like, to have a, like, and I drove to 3 places, 3 offices. I probably put 20 hours into trying to get these people to fix the computer. And it was clearly a computer error, but they were like, you got to go through this. It's going to take 3 months, and we're going to close you guys' account until we find the glitch. Basically, they're like, nigga, shut up. Like, we own this shit. You buy from us, kiss my ass, is what they told me. Period. And so I said, I need to follow my own advice, is don't let someone else control my money. Period. If you don't control all your money, you are a bitch to the financial system. One day, and I'm telling you, like those of you guys that just think about the pandemic for a second. Those of you who lost your jobs and couldn't pay rent, what was that like? Just rent. Like imagine having a business. You understand what I'm saying? Like my partner, and he cussed me out the other day over the 40,000. Like, man, we're gonna see you in court. I was like, I didn't even do nothing. He goes, I know, but I don't know what else to do. He hit me up. So I had to drive to his house today, sit down with him, meet him, break bread, talk it up. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have to kidnap him, and he didn't have to kidnap me. But like at the end of the day, we need to control everything we do. Like seriously, I told somebody the other day, I could sell my houses and my land and my cars, and I could take my stuff and I could go to Africa, Ethiopia with these beautiful women. I'm sure if I just decided to leave mine, and I could find one over there, or Ghana or Thailand, or Lord have mercy, half the country, Colombia, you get the point. You know what I'm saying? You take $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 and you go to one of those places, you could disappear. Send my kids a smoke signal, a W sign. I'm here. How you doing? I told all my kids, y'all get passports. We out of here. Dead serious. So, in thinking like that puts you in a position of power. Like Russell Simmons is in Indonesia. Think about that. Russell, uncle of hip hop. That's what I call Dougie Fresh when I talk to him. Dude, like, you're the uncle of hip hop. Russell Simmons, I don't want to use the word fled, but he left. He's in a voluntary exile. Do you understand what I'm saying? Russell Simmons, the dude that created Def Jam. Think about this. The guy that created Def Jam, Russell, is reaching out to the brother that put Def Jam back on the map. Russell's out of Def Jam. He sold, and Kanye's off of Def Jam because of his comments. That's insane to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know times have got more sensitive because the Jewish community didn't used to be this sensitive. I listened to Ice Cube say, you let a white Jew mess up my crew. And Cracker and Jerry Heller and like all this shit on No Vaseline. But I think the world has got more sensitive now. So there's just certain things you can't say. And I don't even think the Jewish community is probably really even that upset. I mean, Jews have been through, so much shit, like black people, like almost all people at one point in time. Jews have been through a lot of shit. People talk shit about Jews all day, period. They're used to it. So I think it's everyone else piling in that made it worse. Like when they realize, and I'll get to this question, that even black people are ready to condemn Kanye West. They're like, fuck it, flush him down the toilet. Even his own people are ready to cut him loose. His own people, and here's the problem with black people, and something we need to fix. Either we're going to be about it or we ain't. Because I know when I'm hanging out with people in business, in the music industry, and Jews come up, the conversation is not friendly. It's not. They all feel like the Jews control their money. They all do. They all feel that way. And they all say it. I don't care who it is. They always talk about we got to own our stuff. Like we got to own the masters, like Anita, like Jay-Z or Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? They got to own their masters. Dave Chappelle. Who are they buying their masters from? You know what I'm saying? And the other thing, who are we selling our masters to? It's the other thing, right? We gave other communities power by selling to them. Now, I know there was a point in time where as a black singer in the 50s and 60s, you couldn't get on without Jewish media. It was coined in them. They put you on because they controlled everything, right? But right now, we have so much power, but we still don't own our stuff, right? Kanye will redeem himself 100%. He's a smart dude. I guarantee you he will be apologizing. And Kanye West here's one thing that Jewish people do know, they understand power. Kanye West made Jews a lot of money. His music companies, Yeezy. Like, when's the last time you bought a pair of Adidas? Like, serious, right? My boy Pete Smith wrote a song, No Adidas, Nike's the only shoe I wear. And I started to call him up, be like, man, you ought to put that out. Now it's time, 40 years later. So Kanye made a lot of like Balenciaga and Louis and American Express. Do you know how many people went to American Express based on Kanye West talking about the black card? I still get phone calls from people wanting black cards because Kanye West, because I gave him one. So this dude has made a lot of companies rich. So yeah, he'll redeem himself. You know, you just, it just takes time. He's gonna have to kiss a lot of ass, and I guarantee you, Adidas, Balenciaga, all those guys, they want him back because Kanye is the coolest. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna holler at you, Cosmo. Don't leave me hanging. Kanye is the best thing that's happened to fashion and music in decades. I know some of you guys, you hate on Kanye West because of his comments. So like, since when has anybody been perfect? You know, like, I voted for Donald Trump when he ran, and half the shit that came out of his mouth, I wouldn't say to my worst enemy. I'm like, he is a piece of shit. But I just voted. I voted based on money. I don't care about either one of those dudes. I made a financial decision from my pocket. That's it. Nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So Kanye is a powerful dude. The problem is when dudes start talking, people go, okay. If people started listening to Kanye, and black people started saying we're gonna produce our own stuff and we got power, that's too much. The world ain't ready for that. And it's funny, every time a black dude gets up there, he's gone. Like Kanye, Bill, Jay-Z, I mean, all of them. Like Jay-Z, I think treads more lightly. Jay-Z's more laid back. You understand what I'm saying? So until we own our own stuff, it's going to always be that way. And we need to have our money, and we need to have our weapons. Period. Right? And when I say him apologize, there's some things you don't want to leave out there. Number one is when you say something about a whole race, from as powerful as Kanye is, you have to, I mean, that stuff comes with repercussions, you know. And it happened to Roseanne Barr too. Can't remember what she said, but she got kicked off of her own show. I don't even remember what she said, but this is the era when you can't say shit about people. You know what I'm saying? Remember Roseanne Barr? She had her own show? Gone. Kevin Spacey, one of my favorite actors in the world, you know, was accused of drinking with an underage boy. I don't know what the fuck, but he's still, you know.
They said he was very racist too, but it seems like he's making a comeback as well.
You know, Kevin Spacey is House of Cards, Kaiser Soze from The Usual Suspects. If you have not seen Usual Suspects, you're doing yourself a disservice.
It's a great movie.
Man, it's in my trust. My kids gotta watch it over and over. So there's just certain things you can't say or do when you get power. You know, I know Joe Biden want to come out and say, "Oh, I'm tired of these niggas in reparations. We ain't gonna give it to him." But he can't come out and say that. He'll do it, but he ain't gonna say it. So when you have power like that, you have to be careful what you say. That's all. And we can start our own sports. We tried that. Right, with the NFL, the Black League, or you know the name of it?
Who did?
The NFL. The brothers tried to start their own
league. Oh
yeah,
it was like one season, and it was a wrap.
That shit lasted for like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
but and those things take time too. Everybody, it's going to take time to get off the ground. Think about how long the NFL took to get going. It takes decades sometimes to get something going. In black people, we have to be willing to put in that work. Do you understand what I'm saying? We got to put in the work. We got to have our life insurance. So when we die, our kids have money and we give them instructions and we tell them what to do and they have power. We have living benefits. So we have a stroke, our kids have money coming in to take care of us so we can still speak power, but still be taken care of. Black people, we let 75 to $100 a month destroy our financial situation. It's mind-blowing to me. And Black people, we need to treat each other better. Period. Man, I go out and I'm talking to a brother out in public, 50-50. It's going to go one way. It's going to be good or it's going to be bad. Period. And Black people, we got to treat each other better. Black men especially. Women too. We need to cheer the hell up. I got a sister in my community. I saw her say, "How you doing, girl?" She looked at me like I tried to steal her wallet. I'm like, I know I'm somewhat attractive. You know what I'm saying? I pull up, I'm in the range. You know what I'm saying? I got my key in my hand, so she knew it was mine. I'm dressed like I am now. Shit was fly. And she looked at me like, "Nigga, please." I was like, "It's a UPS truck behind me? Like what?" We have to be nicer to each other. That's it. So we feel like we deserve to have this wealth. Man, like it would be cool. Like I love going to Black parties, you know what I'm saying? And just seeing Black people getting along. That's a powerful feeling. What if we could do that all the time? But we got to save our money first. Because unfortunately, when I go to those Black wonderful parties, ain't nothing but foreign cars in the parking lot. Right? And I don't know if there's a Black-owned car company. Imagine that. A Black-owned car company. That would be fire. I would buy it. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to have ownership. Like I'm a Black business owner. I have a lot of Black people that say, "Yo, man, I'm buying a car from you because you're a brother." And I appreciate that. I know being Black has its benefits, especially if you're trying to help people. And I like to do business with Black people when I can. You know, if I see a Black dude selling hot dogs, which I never do, but if I did, you know what I'm saying? I would go straight to him and buy hot dogs. I would even pay more. That's what the Jews, the Mexicans, the Asians, that's what they do. Black people, we seem to be the only people that get $1 and toss the shit out the window. I said, "What up, April? I see you." We're the only people that get money and toss it. Like, man, I tell you, I always tell the story. I know y'all tired of it. About my Louis bag that I want. But I will not pay $2,500 for this bag. So and I'm like, I could do other shit with that money. And I still, to this day, have not bought that bag. Not even on the real, over 24 months and half off. I still ain't bought it. Because I'm just too stuck. If it's not an experience that's going to improve my life, like travel or visiting a country, I put it away. Like today, Black people, like, do you realize what's happening right now? The market, Google, Facebook, Amazon. I bought stock options on Amazon, just one contract, 100 at $1 piece. Amazon went down 20% after close. I know that $100 is 15 cents. But you know what I'm doing tomorrow? Is I'm going to go out and buy a bunch of them at 15 cents. This has nothing to do. Right now I could be sitting in my underwear. I'm wearing pants, right? But like I could be sitting here in my drawers and doing what I did. This is, man, see, Black people, you don't have to ask for permission from nobody when you control your stuff. I gotta tell you. And I talk about money. I know this is a money show, but damn, like, can we talk about it? You got Snapchat. I know some of y'all on Snapchat, right? You freaks. I know you on Snapchat. I got a Snapchat. I got like 4 friends. And they all nasty. I don't even know how I got. I think one of my assistants downloaded Snapchat for a verbal herb. And freaky mama number 22 want to be your friend. And I'm like, girl, I got enough friends. But instead of being on Snapchat, why don't you own Snapchat? Snapchat went from like one day from like 12 to like $8. Something crazy, like one of the biggest stock declines I've seen in one day, next to Netflix. And so I bought stock options on Snapchat before the market closed, because what stocks do is they announce earnings. They announce earnings, like Amazon came out today. Apple, Facebook announced earnings this morning. They got whacked. So when Snap announced, or I bought the options hoping they would hit earnings. They got beat. So my stock option went from $1 to 18 cents. In one day, $100 became 18 next morning. And so I'm sitting there, and so, Negro Bojango showed up. He was like, damn, we just lost $82. And then Walter was like, no, you big dummy. The stock option you liked yesterday that was $1 is only 18 cents. So instead of that one contract, I bought 6 more contracts at 18 cents. Do you know Snapchat is almost 60 cents right now in 1 week? So the point I'm making is that is information that has nothing to do with color, nothing to do with race, and you could own that. Right now, my account is through E-Trade, and I'm sure that's publicly traded, and we can own part of that too. But like the stock options, I always talk about stock options. They're the way to riches. I put $4,500 in an account 2 weeks ago. That account right now, 2 weeks later, is $9,000. $4,500 in 2 weeks. That's just my play money in the morning. And you could do it with 100, with 200. That's how you get black wealth. Do you understand what I'm saying? So tomorrow, like Facebook missed earnings so bad, and Mark is stuck in this metaverse stuff. Nobody understands it, but I know that he does. Mark Zuckerberg is one of the smartest dudes in the world, right? So what do? Facebook missed earnings. They got whacked. Their stock price is down. A stock option that was $1 today is now worth 4 cents. It's like, whoa. So what do you think Facebook's going to do tomorrow at the open? Or do you think Facebook is going to go back up? Hell to the yes, it's Facebook. It's Facebook. Of course it's going to go up. Netflix went from 700 to 167. There you go. We like those subscribers. 700 to 167. Do you know where Netflix is right now? $300. For 167, it's doubled in price in weeks. So when Netflix went to 167, I bought some stock options. I bought the 500, like the June 500 calls. It was like nothing. I doubled my money. I got out, and then Netflix doubled again. But whatever. The point I'm making is there's so much information out there. Like right now, it's earnings seasons. Intel, Facebook, Amazon, Google. Today they came out, like Apple, the bellwether of the stock market, came out and the earnings were kind of okay, right? So this is the kind of information that we can watch. And then as Black people, we do this, and then we take that money and we put it somewhere else. That's it. I got candles, man. I'm telling you, I need my peace of mind. It's like you have. I thought I had my peace of mind is the best interest rate shirt on, but I don't. I got my other shirt. This is my Verbal Herb shirt. You can go get it. Persistence is kryptonite to the haters. And I put it on today because I was thinking about my car situation. These fools trying to close us up. But even this Verbal Herb is Black owned 100%. It's me, the Black owner. I got a Black assistant upstairs. I hope she's working on it. She working on it. You know what I'm saying? It's Black owned up in here. And to start a Black owned company costs us a few $100. You know what I'm saying? And so Black people, we can own stuff. You know what I'm saying? And my sister would tell you she drove me crazy. I wanted to strangle the shit out of her some days. But she came around. She saw the light. She's educated now. And she's in business. You know what I'm saying? She got like, me and her sold 2 cars together. One she broke even on, but I got her money in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? But she is a business owner. And she is a Black woman who's 21 years old who is in business. That's one person. What up, Thomas? That's one person that is in business that can now spread the word to another person that's like her. That's what Black people have to do. Even it's what the Mexicans have done. Man, I tell you, you know what I love about Mexico is just seeing that synergy or going down. I was going to say the Compton swap meet, but now it's the Mexican swap meet. You know what I'm saying? Where Black people used to be, Mexicans now are. And I don't know what happened to us. Like in Southern California, if you try and find a black-owned business, man, you will be out there thirsty. Like seriously. And I don't know what happened to us. We can do that. Start our own business. And here's the thing, you guys. Everybody's gonna fail. Everybody. People think success is like this, but every person that's successful will tell you success is like this. And while you're doing this, people saying you ain't shit. Oh, you making candles. Oh, you got a candle business. Oh, lit. I say, yeah, fool, it's LYT. Don't get it twisted. Right? You can go to lit.com soon and get you a candle. And I've had several people crack on me about starting a candle business. But what does everybody burn when they want to come home and relax? Get in the tub. What do? They light a candle. You understand what I'm saying? Here's the crazy part. I even recycle candles. I bought this shit from Target. Don't think I didn't fill it up with my own wax. Thank you, Target. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you start something, and no matter what, and black people, we got to stop being so mean to each other. Period. Right? I have 100 candles in my house. Yeah, Carrie, I saw it. I wish she would show up. She can help me light some of these candles. But here's the cool part. I have not, since I started Lit, I have not bought one candle from the store. And my household will tell you I would spend hundreds of dollars a month on candles. I spent $1,000 and bought enough candles to make candles for a year. So people are like, oh, your candle business is not off the ground. No, fool. But making my own candles. I have candles. I have candles everywhere. Shit look like a sting wrapped around your finger video. So black people, you can do that. And we have to show up. My sister will tell you, me and her, when we hang up from this podcast and we talk in the morning, stop calling me at 5 a.m. Lord have mercy. We'll talk about finding black people to work for us or with us. This company, I'm going to put her on blast. I need to call her after this. A sister girl bought a car for me, BMW. She bought the car, gave her a huge break. And I had a candle. She goes, I make candles. And it was a Target candle. I said, cool. She goes, I can help you. She came over one day, dressed too short, see-through. My girl totally liked that. You know how that went. So she ain't welcome here. But before she got exiled, right, we coming up, put some clothes on, y'all. Come on, at least wait for my girl to leave. So she started this candle business with me. We went and bought the stuff together, everything, and poof, she disappeared. She's gone. And it broke my heart because I made an effort to work with her because she was black. Period. And I know the Jews do that. Whites do that. And if you don't think white people do that, you're wrong. And the only reason they don't do it as much is because of some of the laws that were put in place. Right? So Kanye is going to be okay. He's worth $500 million. I promise you. Kanye liquidated Yeezy, sold all of his, if he sold his music, and I hope he doesn't, he's still going to be rich. He's still going to be one of the richest black people in the world. He's still going to be rich. And watch this. Kanye will come out of this. Either Kanye is going to die or he's going to come out of this bigger than ever. I mean, Kanye is the type of person, and I worried about Kanye because I know Kanye personally. I spent a lot of time with him, John Legend. I know these guys personally. Kanye truly is a nice guy. Like me and him would talk for hours, and I know that he's down to earth. If you get to know him, the problem with Kanye, he just has so much fucking genius, and geniuses they blurt shit out all the time, and they get in trouble for it, right? So Kanye will be cool. But like, if we really wanted to support Kanye, I mean, I'm not going to spend $300 on a pair of shoes. I mean, I don't know. Does Adidas own Yeezy? Is like, so you can buy Yeezys through Adidas, or can you buy Yeezy from Yeezy?
Well, so it sounds like he was at Nike before, and then he went to Adidas. So I guess Adidas is the company that he was, the contract that he had. So they were manufacturing the shoes, put his name on them. But again, it sounds like they own most of the patents. So it's not like he couldn't make any more. But yeah, so.
Without Yeezy, people aren't buying Yeezys. They're buying Yeezys because of Kanye. That's it.
And the thing too is, and I think people need to think about this, and hello to everybody that came on here. Thank y'all so much for being here. I think the thing what people don't realize about the Yeezys is that they didn't saturate the market with Yeezys. Like when he dropped them, they were gone in like seconds. And so if you had a pair of Yeezys or you were able to get a pair, it was like a rare commodity, right? Like you don't see a whole bunch of, I don't know, Bugattis, do you? I don't know, driving on the street or whatever car may be rare. So that's what the Yeezys were. So people are saying that if Adidas starts to mass produce these, then where is the appeal? For one, that everybody can get them now. And two, Kanye's name is not attached to the product. And so I don't know. I personally wouldn't be interested in buying the shoes. Well, for one, is because they kind of gave validity to what he said. You know, they're stealing from me, is what he was saying. And so, yeah, if you're going, I guess they own the patent, but if you're going to continue to manufacture the shoe without his name, yeah, it sounds like a little bit of theft to me, if you ask me. So, at least intellectual theft.
I mean, no, it's just like it is in the music business. You know what I'm saying? You make a beat, you turn it over to the record label, they own it, and they do what they want with it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I hear those 60s records doing the WAP, and I'm thinking, man, I hope this brother owned this music. You know what I'm saying? His space boots, that would be hot. I would rock the space boots. Give me some white space boots. You know what I'm saying? For Halloween, maybe. But I don't know. I haven't talked to John Legend in so long. Last time I saw John Legend, we were at a Fantasia concert in Vegas. That was the last time I saw him. John Legend's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta ease up. Some of these people are just people. You know what I'm saying? So we have to really loosen up. And black people, we can't be the one to go after our black people. Like the way like the media does, and they get this Oprah Gayle thing going on. You know, the black man killers. Oprah Winfrey and Gayle. Black women, you don't have to ride that train. You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't be so quick. Don't be the first one to come after a brother, because you have a black father who probably went through this stuff.
But see, this is the thing I think we don't understand is that those black women, like your Gales and your Oprahs and people like that, your Jamel Hills, throw her up in there too, they got a paymaster as well. They got to tap dance to what the man is telling them to do as well. You know, if they tell them you're going to interview R. Kelly and don't be easy on him, of course, you know, they got to put on for the audience that's watching and all of that. And so they also have a paymaster, somebody they got to follow and, you know, the instructions as well. And so it's unfortunate that they do that. I mean, of course, we've seen Oprah and Gayle, just to name a few, go after some very prominent black men, especially when we've seen them run around with some very prominent white men that are, you know, very problematic. You know, Harvey Weinstein is one of them. You know, I don't even really think Oprah gave a full-throated, you know, soliloquy, if you will, about Harvey Weinstein. I think she said something like really quickly, but I don't know if she's gone on to make a show and a, you know, a premiere and a movie of the week and all that, because that was her homie. Or of course, we've seen her do that, especially that of Michael Jackson, who has been dead almost 10 years, to the point to where they came out with that whack HBO documentary. And she says it's time for us to cancel Michael Jackson. Is like, huh? Who are you to tell us that? But the other question is, who is telling you to tell us that? You know what I mean? So
Oprah's rich, but she still needs distribution. They gave her a show. You know what I'm saying? She's on a network. You know what I'm saying? Her network is still on a distribution channel. And that's the problem with blacks in media, is they don't own the distribution. And that is the cool part. You know what I'm saying? And I used to like Oprah. I love her story, but damn, like R. Kelly, whatever. You know, I've met R. Kelly. He's a dick, period, jerk, whatever. I didn't like R. Kelly whatsoever. He was probably the meanest person in entertainment I've ever met personally. But damn, Michael, come on. And the dude is dead. Let him go. And no, they're not going to do that to Harvey Weinstein because he's too connected to the power. I mean, and Harvey, don't get it twisted. Harvey got it bad. I mean, Harvey got it. You know, I don't know if he's still alive or dead or what. I mean, he's done.
I think he's still in prison. I know they, you know, went about indicting him and all of that. They actually got a movie coming out talking about it, the Me Too stuff. And I'm like, who wants to see that? You know, the movie, it basically tells. I'm not saying there wasn't any Me Too stuff going on, but it's like, okay, so this was what it was about. A power grab for women in Hollywood. I'm like, that's got to be the most driest, well, dry mayonnaise movie that's going to be premiering. Like, who wants to spend money to see that? I wouldn't. So I don't know.
I wouldn't see it either. And before I get to this question about the T-shirt, um, the whole Me Too movement thing, I don't know. I get it. You have to protect women's rights. You do. No means no. If you go to Verbal Herb, you can get a shirt that says no is a complete sentence. I'll sign it for you. You know what I'm saying? I'll email you, whatever. Get you that shirt. But no means no. But ladies, let it be no from the beginning. I was just telling my assistant, how come every time a woman got a problem with you, she gonna throw some sexual bullshit in there? Oh, you looked at my girlfriend funny. Like, okay, all right, that's cool. Somebody told me my assistant looked sexually she looked like a sex slave. I had to give it to somebody one day. Anyway, we have to stop leading with that shit. We gotta get back to normal. Or it's okay to ask a woman out, you know what I'm saying, and have that again. You guys, the human race, especially the black race, we are being ripped apart. Man, if you want to destroy a black man, all they got to do is get a few black women to come out and doom him. Like, what the hell is up with Anita Hill? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. I ain't gonna beat her up. I know, Clarence Thomas, he's not the greatest black figure. But damn,
they got paymasters. There's somebody that's saying, here, how much is it gonna cost for you? And we know, and then again, we're not defending Clarence Thomas. Please do not get that impression. We're not. He's one of the worst humans on the planet.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Clarence, but even his name alone give him away. Right. Clarence Thomas, like, your parents couldn't have did you better than that old Clarence over there, Mr. Thomas.
Right. But it would make you question, why, Anita? Why now? The man is getting ready to be confirmed to the United States Supreme Court, and here you come at the 11th hour talking about, oh, by the way, this is what he did to me. So yeah, she's got somebody probably wrote her a check to say, okay, now go ahead and throw the, what did Ice Cube call women like that? Throw the monkey wrench in there. Monkey wrench, y'all know what I mean, if y'all follow Ice Cube. Anyway, so they paid her money to do that, I would imagine. Because it just, I always question when people come out and say, oh, by the way, it's like 30 years ago?
Yeah, and I followed his ass from job to job. Man, if I walk into the office and you squeeze my butt and it's unwanted, I'm not following you. Like, I don't need money that bad. Mike Tyson too. My point exactly. If you want to destroy a black man, find you a black woman. That's the powers that be. That's their approach. Period. It's like, man, I like Mike. Mike is nuts, but it's cool what they did to Mike too. He's out, he's squeezing booties, he's hugging on the girls. You see him walk. Mike is a wild dude. I've only met Mike once or twice. He's a wild dude, but he's out there hugging the girls, playing with them. This is Mike Tyson. If Mike Tyson walked into a Miss Universe pageant, come on now, what you think is gonna happen? He gonna, hey girl, how you doing? Nice booty, nice booty. You got a nice booty. Or however he talk in his little voice, he'll jack you up with his little squeaky voice. But
and that situation actually, put the question on a lot of people's mind. Is like, well, why would you go to a man's hotel room? It was 2 or 3 in the morning. Like, what, I mean, not to say that she couldn't have gone there and,
no, she shouldn't have been there. Ain't no excuse to be. And let me tell you, women, if you come to my hotel room and I'm single, let's say I'm single, and you come to my hotel at 2 in the morning, it's going down. There's nothing else you need. Ain't no paperwork, ain't no fax machine in my room.
It's going down until she says no.
I mean, don't show up. Shit, that's no. See, women, let me help you out with this. I might get in trouble, but it wouldn't be something I'm not used to. Don't put yourself in a position to say no. Hallelujah. That's it. Don't put yourself in that position. I know if I walk into a Klan rally, I know somebody probably gonna call me a nigger. So don't go. Period. Like, okay, that's a cute outfit, and I know y'all got rights and powers, but you're walking out of here with your ass cheeks hanging out. You're probably gonna have an issue tonight with somebody squeezing your booty.
Well, let me say this because I want to, and I know Walter's a man, but I need to say this, and I say this a lot, especially when we have our dear, lovely Donovan on here. So I ain't gonna give Walter a pass either. If she's walking down the streets with 2 cotton balls and a band-aid, that does not give. And I'm not saying you saying that, but
I'm not saying that.
I know you're not, but I want to be clear. I want everybody to know that we are clear. That's not what is being said, but I want to clarify that if a woman is walking down the street with 2 cotton balls and a band-aid, that does not give a man a right to say or do anything to her. And I always say this, if a woman that is outside damn near naked, that should not allow any man to become anything other than a gentleman toward her. I'm not saying you're not going to look, but keep it pushing.
Well, here's the thing. That's not reality. It's not reality. It's not. There's some sickos out there as it is. Look at the church, for God's sake. Lord have mercy. Like, you can't even send your kids to church without them being tickle funny. Be it Catholic or Baptist, whatever it is. My God, Jimmy Swagger, I'm sorry for my hoes. Like, so we're talking about a church, a place where it's supposed to be holy. You imagine walking down the street, and here's all I'm saying. Ice Cube said it best. You don't invite ants to a picnic. Having nice shit in the hood is like inviting ants to a picnic. I got my grand piano sitting here by my front door and it's unlocked because, you know what I'm saying? I still, there's certain things that I have to do differently. This is a sick world. So the point I'm making is women, since we're talking about this, and let's brush this subject real quick. We have to just protect ourselves. That's it. I have 2 daughters. You know what I'm saying? And hallelujah, Jesus, they're cool. I didn't have no problems with them like that. Thank God. But man, some of my friends' kids, I'm like, man, like one of my boys put a picture of his daughter on Facebook in some booty shorts. I was like, dude, she's 12. Come on, man. Like,
yeah, stuff like that you definitely don't want to do. Let me address Corey. How you doing, Corey? Says Miss K, as always, don't know what she's talking about. Miss Hill didn't have a choice but to testify. The story came out by somebody else. She did have a choice. She did not have to. So what, it came out by somebody else? She could have said, I don't have to speak on that. That's my business. If it happened or didn't happen, I don't have to speak on that. So she did have a choice. So maybe you don't know what you're talking about.
Or maybe she didn't have a choice. And here's what I mean. Sometimes pressure from higher ups can be aggressive. You know, think about it. You worked at jobs. When have you worked a job and you've done something you didn't want to do? You know what I'm saying? Because
that goes back to what I said about more than likely she has some sort of a paymaster. Did I not say that?
Yeah, you said that. So that happens a lot. That's why it goes back to we need to be in control of our stuff. That's it. If you're not in control, you ain't gonna never have power. The only thing Black Wall Street did wrong was not have a military. The United States is only respected because we have the sickest military. Period. 100%. If you take away the United States' military, if every country put their nukes and their weapons and just buried them 20 feet underground, the United States we'd have India over here, Indonesia, shit, we'd have Hawaiians swimming over here trying to get their land back. So it's only weapons that protects you, because money ain't shit without weapons. Like, we learned that from Black Wall Street. Like, we need to have our weapons, period. Like, I would love to see Black Wall Street. Can you imagine? That's why I like the movie Boomerang. I know it was Eddie, but Boomerang was a cool movie. Black people in power. What was that? Lady Eloise Marcus. That was some shit. We gotta make more movies like that. Not the shit he did to Coming to America too. Help me, Jesus. But when that's just another that shows you Black people don't own the rights to Coming to America, because they made the queen, the prince, the whatever, the king, they made his mama a hoe. What kind of shit is that? And what Black person signed off on that?
Walter is upset about the second Coming to America too. He hated it. Upset.
I haven't seen the end of the movie. I was so pissed. Like watching, I was like Mississippi Burning Roots pissed. Like the first time you saw Mississippi Burning, you was like, what the? Or Roots. When they made him change his name and shit. Like, I was that pissed. Because I felt like that was black people taking that L in the name of entertainment. Like, you tell me a black person owns the rights to come into America and you're going to make the king, his mama, a hoe? And not just I just see she was a classy hoe. You know what I'm saying? She was a nice hoe. She had a nice place, nice car. Everything was calm. She was just a hoe. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem with that, girl. Just be a classy hoe. But a ratchet hoe? Come on now. Black people, we need to do better than that. So that's why I was pissed about the movie. But it goes back to we don't own the shit.
Brother Cecil, how you doing? And yes, you're absolutely right. Kanye did give George Floyd's, I guess he gave it to his daughter for maybe education or something like that, $2 million during the time or after the time that George Floyd was murdered. So yeah, people also need to take that into account. And Yikwabuh,
but they're suing him still for for two. See, that's the black on black crime. You suing this brother for $200 million. Now George Floyd, that was madness. Nobody, I don't care how sick he is, should die like that. That's just unacceptable. And it's crazy to me. Like, if that would have been a dog, Peter, Pamela Anderson, man, they'd have been jumping out of airplanes. That would be a protest for your ass. No one deserves that. No one. Period. But let's be clear. He gave them $2 million. Like, the dude was hanging out in front of a liquor store, and he wasn't the greatest dude. He just happened to be. Let me finish. I hear what.
Wait. I got to moderate just a little bit because this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to go into the background of somebody, and I know you're not going to be disrespectful, but I don't want to go into George Floyd's background simply because I don't care if he was singing Jimmy Crack Corn on the corner, butt naked, rolling around in cotton. I don't care if he was doing that because I hear people try to. Oops, my light. Because a lot of times,
like $200 million. Like,
I'm not saying it's right. I mean, it's not even. It sounds like it's the child's mom that's doing that. So I don't know how much in the picture she actually is, or she was, in any of that. But it sounds like the child's mom is the one that's suing. But I just want to say this because we hear that a lot. And sorry about the noise. My light keeps trying to fall. We hear that a lot about black men or even black people in general who have been murdered by the police. White supremacy tends to like to go into their background and say, oh, but what about he was doing this, that, and the other? Yeah, he might have been doing that, but that still does not mean he should not be here. So that's why I kind of
nobody deserves to die like that, period.
Right.
The point I was making a financial statement is you're asking somebody that gave you $2 million, you're now coming after them for $200 million?
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think she was involved in the money that was given to the family. I don't know. Don't quote me. I think, from what I understand, it's his daughter's mother who, and I don't even know if the lawyers that were involved in the original, legal stuff with George Floyd is involved. I think it's some other lawyer somewhere else. So I don't know. That could be the angle as well.
But yeah, that's black on black crime. What happened to George Floyd was madness. I even listened to a jury. No, was it a juror? A lady, the courtroom reporter. This lady, she sits in all the famous cases. And she said she had to watch a video over and over. And what it did to her soul to watch this dude get choked for 8.47 or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I covered the case as well for African National News Channel every day. And it was just like, damn. Like, it did get to a point because they actually had to show what was being done to him over and over again from different angles, the prosecution, the defense, and, the medical doctors wanted to speak about this, that, and so it was a lot. So it was just, a lot of times when you see certain things, you think, oh, okay, I'll get numb to that, or maybe it, won't have as a big of effect, but it did. Every time I watched it, it was just like, and for a long time, I didn't even see it, but because when I was covering it, that was the first time that I saw it, and it was so unnerving and so like moving to see that happen to somebody, you know, and the part, especially when he called out to his mother, that part jacked me up every time because I couldn't imagine somebody doing that to me and then knowing that, you know, I was gonna die eventually and nobody was gonna help me.
So that's it all goes back to the money. Because that would have been a black dude choking out a Jewish dude, I guarantee you. Or it would have been the other way around, it would have been bananas. Like the dude, like the Chauvin dude, is like they got to go through a trial and all this shit. He got defense funds and people GoFundMe's and shit. It's like, come on, man. Like,
let me say this, Corey, I see you're on here and you're trying to admonish me. You can't tell me what to do. What you can do is do what you need to do. But let me ask you this: since you got all the answers and clearly you are on the Biden train and you ride for the Democrats, you tell me what Biden has done specifically. And I'm not talking about collectively, specifically for black people. And it better be good or I'm going to block you. So what has he done for black people?
We need diversity. Don't block them. Like,
no, I mean, I'm asking because it's like, if I'm reading his comments, I'm imagining it's a man. I'm reading his comments and, you know, he's telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to ask you, what has Biden done specifically for black people? Why should black people keep going to the polls, voting for the Democrats, since you got all the answers for Donald Trump? And I'm going to say this, and I stand 10 toes down on it. Donald Trump has not harmed the black community the way that Biden has. And prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Damn, you going deep. Who? A black person talking about freedom of voting? Come on, don't do that. Now, you cannot, we have not advanced enough to have the power to vote for who we want to vote for. Like, here is how crazy, this black people, here's our issues, our weaknesses, our pillars of doom: religion, the school system, politics, and entertainment. It's the pillars of doom. Lord, my book, Nigger Rich, when it's finished, oh man, it's going down. We have these pillars in black people. Like, if I walk into a black room, let's just say I had a mega hat on. It's not no shit I would do, right? But let's say I had a mega hat on. Just use your imagination. Do you know the shit I would get from wearing that hat? Like, Kanye put on that mega hat and people just wore his ass out. Now, honestly, and I'll just keep it real, I think if I was that close to a president, be it Joe Biden, Jimmy Crackcorn, Jimmy Carter, whoever it is, and he had a hat and I was hanging out with the dude, I probably wear the hat for a minute, just like, yo, man, I'm kicking it with the president. So maybe that was a lot of it too. But man, the way we do Kanye, Ice Cube, any black man that wants to have free thought is madness. Here's the thing about Trump. And I get my car, there's a shop. It's an Indian dude and a black dude. They run it together. That's why I go there. There's a brother running it. And his lobby was full of blacks, whites, Mexicans. And we were talking about politics. He goes, I voted for Trump. And I looked around all scared. I'm like, why are you looking all scared? I said, it's just nature for me when I talk about me being conservative to watch my back. He said to me, 100%. Donald Trump, when the pandemic hit, he goes, I don't care what kind of business you got, if you're a stripper, if you're a Uber driver, or if you lick stamps for a living, we're going to give you stimulus, SBA loans, PPP loans, grants, 5,000, 9,000. Man, they gave away so much money to people that didn't even have a business. If you said you painted walls in the middle of the night, they gave you money. That is a conservative approach. Give everybody money. That's why I'm more conservative. I don't want AOC running Amazon. She ran them out of New York. Now they over here in Riverside. It's like, damn. Like, I don't want government. Like, see, that's where we get close, and black people, we need to be careful. When you give, and both political parties are shit. Believe me. Like, every time I think about Orrin Hatch and Mitch McConnell, Turkey Neck, I don't like none of them. But if I got two enemies in the room and one of them's like, yo, We're going to cut your taxes. And we're going to give you the money. And we're going to get out of your way. I'm voting for that enemy. Period. And you guys, let's keep it real. And I don't know, black people, why we hate Trump so much. Man, before Donald Trump ran for president, if you had the number one card in your hand, you had the what? You had the Trump card, right? We were cool. He even used a song from the OJs, and we were cool with it. The Apprentice. Every black person I know have seen an episode of The Apprentice. The dude ran for president, and all of a sudden, he was the worst person in the world. Now, he was a shitty dude. Shitty dude. He, Donald Trump, he did some shitty things. I get it. But we as black people have to be okay to say, I'm voting for this person. And be cool with it. That's it. I had a dude want to fight me one time over politics. Oh, man, how come you ain't voting for us? I'm like, nigga, who is us? I'm like, who us? Like, we us? Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what the Democrats and civil rights did to the black family. Please, miss me with that. Don't talk about us. Do you realize every black leader up until recent history was a Republican, from Sojourner to Malcolm to Martin, all of them Republican. I know things change and it's wacko now, but I think we, during those days, were more about just give us our money and let us do it. Let us build it on our own. We got to get back to that. MasterCard, I like that. I'm going to see, wish I could find a way to use that on a shirt or something like that.
And let me say this, because I said this the other day on Twitter. It is a false dilemma to say, oh, well, if you ain't a Democrat, you must be a Republican. I can't tell you how many Negroes run around saying that. And I'm like, if I was a Republican, I ain't scared of you. I don't have a problem saying I'm a Republican or I'm conservative. I don't fear what people think about me. But the only problem is with us, as Dr. Cloud Anderson talks about this, we're the only group of people that vote as a block for our oppression. No other group or race of people do that. We all got to be Democrat and vote blue no matter who. That's why they pander to the black community the way that they do. They've been the Democrats because they know those Negroes belong to us. We don't have to do anything for them. They're automatically going to vote for us. And then we have people running around. Y'all know who they are. I don't feel like mentioning their name because I ain't got the energy for it today. But you got who I believe, I'm not saying fact, I believe to be getting money, or they have paymasters too. Hey, go into the black community and sow a whole bunch of discord and tell them that they need to vote for the Democrats and tell them all the wonderful things the Democrats have done for them. But it's like, okay. And then they tell them to say, well, yeah, the Republicans ain't did nothing. But guess what? Black people don't disproportionately, predominantly, overwhelmingly vote for Republicans. We don't do that. The Republican ain't coming up into our churches, giving us fish fries, twerking, talking about no voting, no bucking, and all the other nonsense they give us. You don't see they candidates like Sheila Jackson Lee playing Zydeco and all of that other stuff and shaking their booties and stuff. That's the Democrats who do that. Democrats give us the low-hanging fruit. Tell me the last time you saw any Democratic candidate go into a white community and say, come on, let's start twerking. Or when is the last time you saw any of our James Clyde or anybody go into the white community and say, I'm going to give y'all fish fry. Thanks for your vote. You don't see that. So stop with the nonsense and say, well, if you're not a Democrat, you must be a Republican. You know, we used to be Republicans, so that ain't necessarily a bad thing. And there's some black people who like some of the policies of the Republican Party. But see, we should treat politics like a buffet. All right, I'm going to pick someone from that area. I want some over here. I don't have to go get all of one thing. When you go to a buffet, do you do that? If you go to a buffet, which I don't really like much, but if you go to a buffet, do you get all chicken? Or do you get some steak, some fish, some chicken, and some other stuff? You get a menagerie of things. And that's what we should be doing as black people. Stop saying, well, I'm just going to vote for all the Democrats. Well, are all the Democrats good for us? So we really need to understand that and stop trying to shame people in, oh, you a Republican. So what? So what? They're Republican. We know that neither party is good for us, but as I said, it's the Democrats that come and bust a jig and all that other nonsense. And guess what we do? What did Roland say? Well, to Hillary, when he was teaching her how to wobble, like literally up there teaching Hillary mayonnaise Clinton how to wobble. And you know what he said behind that? Oh, yeah, you learn this, they'll vote for you too. And you know what? He's right. He knows that all he has to do, because I say this about Roland. I said I wasn't going to mention his name. Roland is a very smart individual, but he also knows how to get at Black people emotionally, because he knows that we ain't going to go look like he was running around talking about, oh, that Asian hate crime bill is for everybody. Well, why does it say Asian 5211 times in the bill if it's for everybody? And I showed y'all the other day. It don't say everybody. It don't say Black people. It don't say African Americans. It says Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. But yet he wants y'all to believe that Asian hate crime bill is for y'all, and it's not. So we have to get into, we got to get mature politically and start cracking on. Like I say this all the time, with Google being free, we should not be this ignorant. We should not be having these conversations and trying to, like, the shame. Like, do y'all know that Black people, especially politically, are starting to wake up, and those shaming tactics are not working anymore? You can't shame people into, oh, you a Republican. So what? What you gonna do to me? You more mad at me being a Republican? I'm not. I'm just saying, for example, you're more mad at me being a Republican than you are the people in your neighborhood that are doing you dirty. You're more mad at me if I was a Republican than you are Joe Biden, who has bragged about being the author of every major and minor crime bill since 1976 that has dilapidated whole generations of Black people. We still got Black people in those prisons doing a 3-strike to life, a 3-strike bid over stealing pizza as their third felony. So when y'all telling me about, oh, you a Republican, well, why are you proud to be a Democrat? What have they done for Black people specifically? Every time I ask somebody that, they don't never say. When I say specifics, I'm not talking about the Affordable Care Act. Everybody can get that. Even the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill. Is it only Black people that can be lynched? No, everybody can be lynched. But I'm talking about something that's going to move the ball like it's moved the ball for everybody else. We want reparations. We want our land. We want a whole host of things. But you know what? We ain't got the money. And guess who else jumps on the bandwagon with the Democrats and say we ain't got the money? Black people. Well, they don't have the money, where the money's supposed to come from. But we watched them give trillions of dollars away during the pandemic and billions to other countries and bringing other people over here, setting them up nicely. Y'all saw Mayor Eric Adams walk through the facility for immigrants. It's nice. They got, cable, and they can get the clothes dry cleaned and all this other stuff. He got people sleeping on the streets. We got the homeless population is predominantly Black people, but y'all big up in the Democrats who are putting these people up nicely in these, nice hotels and stuff, but your Black ass is on the street. So next time you ask me about what Trump has done for me, I want you to follow that with what Biden has done for Black people. And then when you do that, I will answer that question. But again, I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Biden either, because neither one of us mean us any good. But stop trying to shame Black people into saying, you know what? I've been going to this buffet all these years, and I just been getting chicken. I'm gonna walk around and it tastes something else. I'm gonna see if this is actually gonna be beneficial to me. If it's gonna be better for me. Stop doing that. Stop trying to shame, because when you do that, you shame us into accepting more of nothing. Everybody else walks into the voting booth knowing, oh, if I vote for this person, I know my neighborhood is going to be better. Or we're going to get, everybody else could do that. Us, we got to go in there and call on the gods and, hope and wish and pray like Obama's told us to do. Hope and change. We got to do all that and hope we get something for it, knowing damn well we not. There's a lady in Memphis, Tennessee. Her name is Barbara Cooper Green. She's a 93-year-old city councilwoman. She just got reelected. Guess what happened to her? She died yesterday. Democrat died, 93 years old, on the seat. Something that is hubris to think that I'm 93 years old, I'm going to get reelected and continue serving the community. So you think she's 93 years old, she's skipped over 2 and probably going on 3 generations of people who could have sat in that seat. But other communities don't do that. They're like, you know what, Bob? It's been nice. We're gonna vote somebody else in. We need some fresh blood, not us. We hold on to 93-year-old people until they literally die. That's insanity. So again, I don't mean to be long-winded, but I just get tired of people trying to, try to shame Black people into wanting something else. Try it sometimes. Try it like green eggs and ham. Try the goddamn green eggs and ham. You might like it.
It ain't no but jelly on them. Yeah, see, I wouldn't have went off on y'all that bad. Man, and my sister was like
I didn't go off.
My sister was a liberal. Like, seriously. I was a liberal too. I was until I started making money. Once I started making money and I saw how hard it was to start a business, my God, like I got a letter today from Verbal Herb, some agency I ain't ever even heard of. I'm like, who this? I'm selling t-shirts. Like I got 14 agencies. I gotta pay local tax, this. I got $800 fee for LLC California. I got state tax. I got IRS tax. I got IRS fee. I'm like, God, Lord have mercy. At what point can I just sell some shirts? That is socialism. That is where, see, Bernie Sanders, I had to check my son, my youngest son. He was like, Phil the Burn. I said, you get out of here with that shit. Let me tell you where Phil the Burn comes from. Bernie got a book. He said it himself. The only way, first time he saw $1 million was from his book. That is not socialism. That is capitalism. I hear kids all the time, oh, capitalism is bad. Are you losing your rabbit ass mind? Do you understand capitalism? Man, see, that's how I know people don't travel. They start talking that socialism shit. Oh, I want socialism. So you want the government to make decisions for you? Like, look at how governments make decisions. You can drive through LA downtown right now. Matter of fact, you can roll through almost any California city right now. San Francisco, the upper crust of California, has one of the largest homeless populations on the planet. The shit look like Beirut. Period. And they don't know what to do. People shitting on the street. People sound like a Melly Mel record. It's people pissing on stage. It's a rap. This is what happens when you turn over power to the government like that. And that's what socialism is. 100%. You guys need to be careful. Like, Republicans and Democrats, don't get it twisted. They are both crooks. They are in it for the money. That's it. Look at Obama. And Obama, I have a sign in my closet that says, what would Obama do? I'm a registered Republican. Like, if Obama ran today, I would be torn. I probably would not vote for him. But I got a sign in my closet. And I go, would Obama wear this? Would Obama wear that? Would Obama wear these shoes? Would Obama wear this out the house? Every time I do something, I'm like, and the point I'm making is, like, he's an excellent brother for that. But like, damn, I ain't gonna follow his politics. And where I was going with it in the beginning is he got to deal with Netflix. So Mr. Socialism has a production deal with Netflix. And he and his wife both have #1 books. That is capitalism. Because when you go to Cuba, I remember a long time ago, D, you might remember this, Cuba had a long distance runner in the Olympics and he won. And he gave up, he had to give up everything except they let him keep this little red Mercedes. This was decades ago. Cuba, when I went to the cigar farms, Cuba takes 90% of their crop and lets them have 10. Lets the business owner have 10%. And then the people there making a few bucks, they make shit. I don't even know. The number was, it was like $3-4 a day is what they pay the Cuban workers. But they go out and sell cigars for $5 on the street. They give them 4 or 5 cigars a day, and that's how they pay their bills. So socialist country gives their workers cigars to go sell to the tourists to pay their bills. What kind of shit is that? Like, you've been duped. You've been had, Black people. So stop with that shit. Like, the minute ALC got elected, I just went, it's over. She's a woman. She's a beautiful woman. She's smart, articulate. I get it. But like, if you take Amazon out of the picture, a lot of your kids don't have jobs, didn't have jobs. I can't name one person that doesn't know somebody that worked or was affected by Amazon. I can order some shit right now to be here tomorrow. The AOC company, that shit might be here never. So we need to be careful, Black people, and that's why we don't have power. That's why we're here talking about Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Again, what he said was aggressive. I wouldn't, from a man that powerful, I wouldn't go after a whole race. But I understand what he was saying. I understand because a lot of people in music and entertainment feel like the Black man doesn't have power when it comes to the Jews because they own everything. It's the way it is. I saw a concert and the guy was singing about Jews, just about all the shit that we own. And he was naming like Tom Cruise, and he was naming all the famous Jews, right? And so I aspire for Black people to have that kind of power, right? And there's no such thing as unbalanced capitalism. You guys miss me with that shit. It is not. And here's what I mean by that. I could start, the only thing, well, maybe I should reverse it. So Lit Candle Company and Verbal Herb, right? It's where I'm putting my efforts. And as the money talks, I have a few things that I'm working on. But like, nothing's stopping me from getting Verbal Herb out. Zero. Nothing. You go to my website right now, you can buy a shirt. It's working. Nothing is blocking me. That is capitalism. Unrestricted. Because honestly, people, if the government had its way, Black people would not be able to do what they do. Do you really think Joe Biden and them sitting up in the cut really want to see Black people succeed? That's why you get people like Kamala Harris, even Tiger Woods. They pushed that he wasn't Black, that he was Asian. And ain't no Asian hitting the ball like that, period. That is the Black dude in Tiger Woods smacking that ball across the planet and hitting the ball 1,000 times before practice. That is him. Now, he's half Asian, you know what I'm saying? But like, damn, you take the Black dude out of Tiger Woods, he ain't the champion. You take the Black dude out of Deion Sanders, or, I was going to say Des Prescott, but I don't know about him. You get the point. They're not champions. You take the Black out of Michael Jordan, the Black out of Jay-Z, the Black out of Robert Johnson, the dude that runs a big hedge fund. That's not cracking. If you take the Black out of Kanye, we're not rocking music like this. It's not cool for, like, I started my clothing line, Verbal Herb, based on Kanye starting easy. Verbal Herb I came up with a decade ago. And when Kanye released this shit, I was like, yo, I could do it too. Now, he says some wild shit, and Kanye will continue, maybe not as much. He will continue to say some wild shit. But since when do we write a brother off because he says some wild shit? Donald Trump came out and said Mexicans ain't shit but bitches and hoes. Pretty much. It is introduction speech. And half the people voted for him anyways. Sarah Palin, I remember the day John McCain lost my vote. She came out and she said, I have the same job as Barack Obama, except I actually work. I was like, oh, hell no. She just insulted the man. For being a community organizer. And we know a community organizer, somebody goes to the community and says, hey, y'all, we need to march or do whatever. We need to get our shit together. She dissed that dude running for president of the United States. And I remember scratching John McCain off my list. I go, if he's dumb enough to have that chick rolling with him, it's a wrap. But she's still out there doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? Because they got power. Black people, we need to be more discriminatory. We need to discriminate more. What I mean, and I don't mean be negative, but we need to make better decisions about us. Put your money away. It is embarrassing. Embarrassing. Who in the hell? I was talking to somebody, a sister, and I brought up Snapchat. Snapchat's getting killed. I doubled down on the option. She goes, I don't know nothing about the stock market, baby. I don't get involved in that stuff. I said, I was like, would it be politically incorrect to slap the taste out of her mouth? That'd probably be too much. But it angered me because I'm like, the stock market opens up at 6:30. At 4:30, the market starts pre-trading. At 3 a.m. California time, CNBC is on, and so is Bloomberg. They are live breaking down how to make money when the market opens and when it closes and what to do. Do you realize I've made $4,500 in 2 weeks just watching CNBC and putting money into their market? Nothing to do with my race, but that is unrestricted capitalism. Nobody's saying, oh, it's a nigga on E-Trade. Let's slow down his trading. But that's what you guys want with this socialism bullshit. Black people, let's get off of the pillars of doom. Let's tell religion to kick rocks. Okay? Believe in God? Of course I believe in God. I know there's a higher power. There's no way the earth is spinning and I got 40 million cells in my body, or trillion, and they're all, I know that is something that we will never understand. I know that is God. But like all the other stuff in between, like, come on, y'all. Oh, we gonna hope and change. No, Negro dumbest. Ain't no hope. Hope don't pay bills. Hard work pays bills. And black people, when we get pissed off, what do you say, D? Pissed to, I can't remember. Pissed
the
to
highest of festivity.
Yeah, when we get pissed past the point of festivity, then we will make it. When you see a black man getting a paycheck and you ask him about investments and he says, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh man, I had a brother tell me, a room full of people. This is when I was working with Kanye. And I was suited up. And so they started clowning me because, here's a brother in a suit. I know black people what it is. Y'all see a brother in a suit and y'all got so many fucking jokes. Like, did you go to church or you in court? Like, seriously? That's what you got from me? And everybody started busting up. I was like, you guys, let me step out the room so the meteor could just land on you dumb Negroes. That's how I felt. Like, none of y'all in here got investments. None of y'all, like, trying to do anything. He goes, what's the use of having money if people can't see it? You big dummy. They're not supposed to see it. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to put it where they can't see it. That's black people. We are doomed. We are doomed, 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 doomed. And the Jews, Germans, Asians, Mexicans, whites, whoever it is you want to talk about, can come out and say, black people, you ain't shit. Howard Stern can come on right now in blackface and say, I'm a dumb nigga, and so what? What we gonna do? Germany comes out and says, black people, you deserve to be slaves again. Are you gonna take your bins back? No, you're not gonna take your bins back. You're not gonna do it. Because we don't own shit that we can go buy. I got a Range Rover, and I heard this lady speak. The sister, she was talking about the African artifacts that Great Britain still has. Matter of fact, Great Britain, when the Queen died, India asked for that diamond back. That ruby, they want that diamond back. They're like, no. I was like, you know what? I should sell my Range Rover. Fuck them. But it's already used, so they ain't gonna hurt them because it's already used. But the point being, I was like, I won't buy a Range Rover brand new from them. I won't do that. Like, give us our stuff back. We have to become that way.
But see, the thing too is there enough of us, and not just about the Range Rover, but anything, when the black community, our community is wrong, do we, I mean, we could take something like the NFL, for example. Kaepernick put it on the line, jeopardize his career or whatever. Few black people, probably more than a few black people boycotting. I'm not watching the games, this, that, together. But imagine if we would have all did that. Imagine if the players would have did it. Well, we don't have to do it a weekend. And then they would have said, okay, they kind of trying to do something now, but it's like, yeah, y'all took everybody through that. The owners of the NFL, we basically ain't doing it. They acquiesce to that of white supremacy. And so, you don't buy another
shit.
Huh?
They don't own their shit. And the whole thing with Cap in the NFL, I was kind of had mixed feelings because the NFL, I get it. He took a stance there, but like, it's not the NFL's job, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like these are people playing sports. They going to work, they tossing the ball around, they making millions. This is not a social justice platform. So I can understand them saying, hey, you know what? This is the way we've always done it. This is our house. If you don't like it, don't work here. Right? So I think that was Cap saying, you know what I'm saying? I understand him kneeling, But some people look at kneeling during the national anthem as disrespect to the flag. Now, me, I've never been one to get behind a flag. It just, you know what I'm saying? And I know the third verse of the anthem. So I definitely, I'm not going to be putting my life down for a piece of cloth. So I understand the whole thing, but I just think, there are other platforms for that. And a lot of people were mixed about the Cap thing, and Cap got paid. Nike, GQ, Cap is doing well.
Yeah, he's better off. Now, let me answer this. Corey says, I don't think nobody is going to give us reparations. So if I think you don't vote, then don't complain about the cops, jobs, on and on and on and on. Well, I could complain as much as I want if I don't vote. It's my right to complain. Who gonna make me not complain? I can complain if I want to do that, but I'm not one to complain. I just like to do, right? And the other thing is, you said, about don't complain about the cops. I mean, well, was you complaining about the cops when Obama was in office and the police brutality was at an all-time high under the first Black president? Did you complain about it then? And then you talk about jobs on jobs on jobs. What jobs you talking about? You talk about Amazon jobs, service level jobs, minimum wage jobs, because that's what we predominantly work in. We predominantly work in the service industry. And then there's the government jobs, but there's most of us that's in the service industry. So are you talking about those jobs? The jobs that when we need 2 and 3 of those things to even, try to make ends meet. And hell, you live in California, so you know what the rent is like. I was looking in the rentals in California for a 6-bedroom house. They want $7,200 for a 4-bedroom. They want $3,500 for a house in Moreno Valley, baby. And no shade to Moreno Valley. There's some nice places in Moreno Valley, but Moreno Valley,
yeah, you wouldn't walk through Moreno Valley at night back in the past. Moreno Valley was like, you just kept it moving. If your take was on E, you just prayed that you got to Philon or Hemet or somewhere. You did not stop in Moreno Valley.
So Corey said cops. So you said about the cops' job. So you're saying, okay, well, I guess, I visually put a comma in there. So you said the jobs that the cops are doing. Well, even still, was you complaining when they was roughing up Negroes under the Obama administration? Because that's when Trayvon Martin got killed, and then we start to see an uptick of police brutality. So did you have a problem with Obama? Or are you just trying to charge that with Trump? And do you know also that Obama put out a system that would warn the cops if they were in danger? But did he have a system to warn Negroes when we was in danger from the cops? So I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think you need to tell the truth. You try to make it seem like the Democrats got halos on their head. No, they're in the same game. They ride with the Republicans, and your dear beloved Biden. He always talked about how he had his good friends and his mentors were on the other side of the aisle. Strom Thurmond and James O. Eastland and all those cracker barrels that were big time KKK grand wizards and dragons and all that. Admittedly, big time Southern segregationists who he called his dear friends, and he cried at their funerals. I mean, so you got the same smoke for them or just Trump? I mean, because if you ask me, Trump did the most damage to Black people in regards to the police. How the hell you think he was able to do that? He was able to do that by those crime bills that he bragged about writing. He's the one that made it where they have the mandatory minimums where judges have to sentence people to three strikes, 25 to life, even if that felony was something minor. So, I mean, again, if you want to talk about the jobs that the cops are doing, tell the whole story. See, that's the problem that I have with people like yourself who big up the Democrats. You do it to make it seem like they're doing something. And the other problem that I have too is you're talking to people who believe what you're saying because you're not telling them the whole truth. Tell them the whole story. And let me ask you this: how many crime bills have Trump written in regards to that Biden? How many? Who's got the most crime bills? If you want to really have that conversation, don't those crime bills affect how those cops do their jobs? I'm asking.
Yeah, that's it. The system is whack. But I mean, not all cops are bad, but it's like Chris Rock said, if one airline pilot is out of line, people die. Right? I'm not one for defunding the police. I just think that they ought to go through and weed those people out, like Google, Amazon, Netflix. The guy that owned the huge mortgage company put them all on a Zoom call and said, those of you that have been laid off are basically the lazy ones, the weak ones. We are letting you go. They need to go through Monegro Valley. That's funny. We need to go through and weed them out. But we can't do that unless we put people in place, vote people in place that will do that. You know, cops, not all cops are bad. Most cops are decent guys. They just want they're trying to earn a living like everybody else. It's easy to become a cop. They make, almost six figures. They're pulling out overtime. They make good money. They get retired. They get 55 years old. They get a pension. They could chill for the rest of their life. You understand what I'm saying? So I get it why a lot of people are cops. I just think it's too much power for somebody that hasn't been through mental toughness. Training hasn't really gone through racial, all that stuff. There's a lot. When you give somebody a gun, there's a lot that goes along with that. I got a gun and I make a mistake, somebody's dead. Like, ain't no apologizing and Jimmy Crack Corn or hymns and hallelujah is going to bring that dude back. Right? So, and Kanye will be back. He's a smart dude. But you know what he could be doing is he could be drawing a line in the sand and say, okay, he drew the biggest line you could possibly draw. He did something that no other person, black person especially, has been willing to do, is state how he really feels. He feels like the Jews as a whole, and it's not all Jews, I get it, but like he feels like they're trying to control him. And I bet you a lot of it had to do with Adidas and some of the stuff in his music, So, and you made a comment about Rick Rubin owning Def Jam or something like that. It's like, damn, like Def Jam, that sound black. Like, but
Right.
it's like FUBU, I get it. Damon John's got his money. He sold out, but he got his money and he's keeping it moving. I like that.
Let me answer this too. You said, so was you just upset when Trump passed a bill or you can get 10 years for touching the Confederate monument? You talk about the Asian crime bill. Why are you touching them? There's a lot of things you can't touch and you will get in trouble, fine, go to jail. A lot of things. You know what? Like, I didn't get wrapped up into the whole Confederate monuments. They've been there all them years. I mean, what really effect does that have? Honestly, that's that low-hanging fruit symbolism stuff that the Democrats give you. All the Confederate monuments. So what? If they really cared about black people and how we feel, write us a check. I don't care if they have those monuments up there. Get rid of those monuments. Ain't gonna take away racism. Did you experience less racism as a black person in America when they got rid of the monuments?
I would say it got worse.
Exactly.
It got worse during that time. I used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard. I used to love that show Friday night. Shit used to come on. I used to love the Dukes of Hazzard. And I just recently found out, talking about like in recent history, that there was a Confederate flag on top of the car. And then the name was the Dukes. I mean, they throw that shit in our face like the Dukes, the Confederate flag, Boss Hog, for God's sake. Like, man, it never dawned on me, though. Like, it didn't dawn on me. It's kind of like sometimes ignorance is bliss. Like, this shit is out there. The Confederate flag, like my neighbor in Texas I use the word had, a Confederate flag. And I moved in and she put the flag up. And I was like, oh, hell no, I got to go. I walked over there and I said, hey, you know what? This is your property, but I just want to give you an idea that what that flag means to me. And I would like to talk about it. I went over, you talked to Peggy yesterday when you was at my house, right? She mad as hell at her brother too, because I don't show up. She mad because I don't come around no more. I went over there. We sat by the fireplace. We had drinks. He gave me like a $3,000 bottle out of a glass out of his $3,500 bottle of scotch, and we smoked his cigars. And he broke down what the flag meant to me. He goes, Walter, we don't care about the racism shit. It's just Southern pride. And we, that was it was for us. And they took the flag down. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's because of me or what it is, but like the flag is gone. And so now she's still racist as hell. She'll talk about some Mexicans in a heartbeat. The Mexicans, they're coming over here illegally. And some of them are. And that's a whole nother conversation. But when I sat down and talked to this chick and her husband, I was like, okay, you think shit about me. Because she was like, Walter, I apologize. Because one day she had Earth, Wind, and Fire blowing at like 6:45 a.m. I was like, will you turn, what's his name, the lead singer down? I was like, will you please tell him to stop singing so loud? And she goes, I'm sorry, it's not rap. I said, I don't listen to rap music. You won't hear rap coming from my crib. Matter of fact, your shit is more ghetto than mine. I got house music playing. You got Earth, Wind, and Fire playing. So a lot of that stuff, I think once we get to know each other too, And there are a lot of movies like that where the racists and the black dude, whatever, they get together and they become enlightened. I think we should do more of that. But while we're doing that, get the money. Black people, churches, schools, politics, entertainment, all that stuff should come second to self-preservation. If Jesus came back, or Muhammad, or Isis, or Osiris, or one of the 50 people that in books had 12 disciples, 12 this, 12 that. You realize December 25th, the Son of God, on December 25th, the earth rises to December 22nd, drops, 25th, the sun rises. That's why the Egyptians called it the Son of God, because on December 25th, the sun rose. The equinoxes. I mean, do your research. Lord have mercy. People say, oh, Jesus is coming back. You better get right. No, fool. They're talking about the zodiac signs. If you look in the sky, Pisces is the time of Pisces, and the zodiac in the sky is coming to an end. We're coming to a new age, you big dummy. Like, be educated. Because some of y'all miss opportunities financially because you throw bullshit in it. Somebody's like, oh, you need to put God first over your money. No, I don't, because God is already everywhere. I'm God. You're God. We're all God. Like the Bible says, and most books say God made man in his image. So I'm God. So I don't need to do shit but take care of myself. And Christians, black people, we are some of the poorest people in the world. Show me a black church, and I'll show you a church where 75-80% of them are struggling financially. Because they put their shit in the bucket and they go home and put your money in the bucket and we're going to pray for your rent. No, how about we put my money on my rent and my mortgage and we pray over the bucket? You understand what I'm saying? That's where we need to go. Until black people, till you put money first. Like if you're sitting here and you don't have no money saved, you should be scared as hell. Scared as hell. Doomsday for you. You are screwed to the worst power. Period. And I know when my money gets low, like I got $100,000 in cars sitting out here, and they hit me with that $40,000 bill. My stress level went through the roof. I was like, what in the hell? I was pissed, and I felt stress. I was like, I'm not cutting them a $40,000 check for the shit I didn't buy. But I calmed down, and I was like, you know, Walter, you doing the math? I said, okay, fine. If we come to my boss, my partner today, we'll cut him a check. Let's do it. We'll liquidate and we'll cut him a check. And he goes, you know what? Even though you didn't buy that car, it's still worth $5,000-$10,000 more than you bought it for, supposedly. So let's go sell it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I went from a position of weakness to power. And that's what it is. And it's just money. That's it. And you guys, cultures, Black history. And it's funny. People will bring up Black history and cultures. You guys, we can't even afford to teach our history to our children. You know, the only time I heard about Black history was from my pops. That was it. Only time I heard from Black history as a kid was from my father. You know, Black history I got in schools? Roots. Sitting over there, Mr. Salem's class in the 6th grade, over in the goof off row, and we get to spend the whole week talking about fucking slavery. And everybody looking at me like, oh, this poor dude. Oh, he's a slave. You know how many times I heard the word nigger growing up? Like, seriously. Like, miss me with that shit. My mom and dad stack their money and say, yo, we're stacking our money so you don't have to go through that shit. We're stacking our money so in case we get divorced, your mom doesn't have to get married and go live with somebody she just met and bring your ass to hot ass Riverside. We remember the house on Gillespie? We were 7 blocks from the beach to living in the crack ass of California desert. Do not talk to me about Black history and culture when we cannot afford to even teach it. Period. Whatsoever. Miss me with that shit. Like, who knows? How many Black kids know who invented the stoplight? I didn't find that shit out till I was an adult. Like Garrett Moore, you mean a black dude? Every time I come to a stoplight, a black dude invented that in the gas mask and the heart trend. Like what's the brother that owns the hospital in LA? King, Drew King. Like you telling me that
Drew.
Charles Drew? That's the heart dude? And black people can't even get a heart transplant based on our social economic situation? Come on, y'all. Like, no.
Well, and you know,
I don't even say that shit. You can kick rocks with that.
Those of y'all who's followed, me for a little bit know that I don't think we should ever say, a lot of us are products of public school. My daughter was a product of public school system. But I didn't send my daughter to school ignorant of who she was. I tell y'all the story all the time. On St. Patrick's Day, when they had to color little leprechauns, she was in the third grade, or I think she was kindergarten or something. I don't know. She brings me to a wall where there's leprechauns, and she says, "Mommy, which one is mine?" I already know good and hell well which one was my daughter's leprechaun. It was the one that she painted brown, because she wasn't going to be going to school painting no leprechaun that was pink. I taught her to do things and move along the lines of things that reflect her. So anytime you send it, that's why kind of with the critical race theory, I'm on the fence with that, is because for one thing, why would we even trust those people to teach our kids who they are? No other community expects the school system to teach their children who they are. It's only us. And then they won't teach us. So what? I don't want them teaching my daughter. My daughter's almost 30 now. And Corey, you asked how old I am. I'm 51. So I'm not no spring chicken. My daughter's 31 now. But when she was going to school, she wasn't going to school stupid of who she was or who she is. She already knew who she was. And so, I don't know. The critical race theory, I think we should be teaching that at home. The devil ain't going to teach you the truth about him. Is he? No, he's not going to do that. So, I don't know. Like I said, too, when she was in the 5th grade, I went to a parent-teacher night, and I opened up her history book. And one of the first things I saw in there was a chapter, I guess, on slavery. And in the first paragraph or two, it talked about how the slave master was so nice. And on Sundays, he gave them a break. And he often worked in the field with them, and they gave them good things to eat. I went up to the teacher nicely and said, "Please do not teach my daughter this. My daughter does not know this version of slavery." Said, "If you want it to be taught, I'll come in there." Needless to say, she never called me. But the point that I'm making is, I wasn't one of those parents that sit up in there and read the book and be like, "Oh, well, okay, that's nice. At least they teaching about slavery." Nah, I don't teach my daughter no lies, because I teach her the truth. So, we got to be in control of our own children, our own money, our own communities. We just have to, like Nation of Islam, Marcus Garvey, everybody else in between. It says, do for self. Do for self. Period. So anyway, we're going to get out of here. The ghost of President George Jefferson. How you doing? And Althea, how you doing? If I didn't already say to you, and everybody else, thank y'all so much for being here. K-Man, he says, does your daughter know that she is a true Israel? I'm sure she's heard something about it. Now, whether she knows, I didn't really teach her that, because that's not the school of thought that I come from religiously. My father is a Nation of Islam, has been since he's 19. He's 78 years old now. So about 52, 53 years or so, he's been in the Nation of Islam. So that's to which we were born into the Nation of Islam. If you guys didn't already know, Walter is my brother. Then when we turned about 12 or so, as my mom remarried somebody else, we converted into Christianity. So I know quite a bit about religion, but no, I did not teach her that. More than anything, I've taught my daughter to have true knowledge of self, because regardless of what book you read out of, if you don't have knowledge of self, none of that matters. Know who you are, so other people won't be able to tell you. And that's the problem with us as in America, we don't really know who we are. And so we allow everybody else to write the narrative about us. And we believe a lot of the low-hanging fruit about us. I'm not saying we don't have no degeneracy going on in our communities, but that's not all we are. Like Walter said, we have got Black people throughout history that are major contributors to everything you see. But we spend so much other time talking about the negative things, the bad things, instead of saying we are great people. Like most Black people in America have been taught about us as slaves. Like we weren't taught, and I'm talking about the school system. I was taught that, Walter was taught that. But when we as Black people in America learn about our history, we only learn about slavery. We don't learn about us being kings and queens and dynasties and all the great wealth, Mansa Musa and all those stuff. They don't tell us that stuff. They talk about, well, you when you was picking cotton, you know, you was slave. That's how they talk to us. But we should go to school and be like, well, that's cute, but we know that Black people were so much more than slaves. So I don't know. Y'all tell me. So anyway, Walter, I appreciate you for being here. We'll be back here on Wednesday, Wealth Wednesday. Today is Thursday. I know I had something to do yesterday. Love and appreciate y'all, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank y'all so much for being here. The other side of the conversation. We love and appreciate you. Kenneth, how are you doing? Says Nigerians are actually the true Egyptians as well. But again, I guess, you know, and I tell you guys all the time, I don't believe, I don't subscribe to religion because it is very divisive, because we can have an argument about this religion, that religion, that religion. I don't believe that God has created religion. He says that for man to have a relationship with him, he didn't tell y'all to go off and be religious. Man did that. And we argue about religion all day long. I guarantee you, if I stay here long enough and say something religious, everybody would argue about it. And that's not what we're supposed to do. Because if you read that Bible, it says God is not the author of confusion. So why is man creating it? So anyway, love and appreciate y'all. We have ways to donate to the channel. You guys want to help become a member, at the very least, like the video, subscribe. We will see y'all live on Sunday with Donovan. I don't know what we'll talk about, but I know it will be interesting. So I love and appreciate you guys dearly. Peace.